back to Akshata's recipes and welcome if you're new here. So today's recipe is Gulacha Sheera, which is made with jaggery. Now you can use any jaggery that you have at hand, which you use generally in your diet. And don't forget to use the nutmeg as well as the cardamom or the elaichi powder also in this recipe. Watch the video till the end because I'll give you tips on how to make the nutmeg powder and the elaichi powder too. So let's get started with today's recipe. So let me take you through the ingredients. This is 1 vati of fine rava or semolina. Now if you don't have the fine rava or semolina, you can use the medium or the thick one and just grind it in your mixer pot till it becomes nice and fine. Now this is 1 vati of jaggery or gur. You can use any type of gur or jaggery. This is 3 cups of water. Now I'm using this vati measure, but if you don't have vatis, you can use the cup measure. So this is about half a cup of mixed dry fruits. So I have cashew nuts, almonds and kishmish or raisins. I'm going to be using a pinch of salt and about 10 teaspoons of ghee or clarified butter. Now this is half a teaspoon of elaichi or cardamom powder. That is, I've used 3 small green elaichis or cardamoms, and this is 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg or zaifal powder grated. So these are all the ingredients. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first add the grated jaggery or gur to my water. And we're just going to mix it. And then I'm going to put it onto, so first give it a nice mix like this. Now I've grated the jaggery just using, a sharp knife. And now I'm just going to put it on a low to medium heat and I'm going to stir this till all of the jaggery dissolves and it comes to a gentle boil. Now turn off the heat and now we're going to strain this liquid because sometimes the jaggery does have a little bit of impurities. So give it a good strain. So now in my pan I've taken the rava and I'm going to dry roast the rava for at least 2 minutes on a low to medium flame, stirring continuously till the rava gives a nice aroma and it turns a little light golden brown in color. Now once that is done, turn off the heat and transfer it to another pan or another bowl. And now with your clean dry kitchen napkin, just wipe out your pan. Now we're going to use the same pan in which I'm going to put 4 teaspoons of clarified butter or ghee. And now I'm going to add my dry fruits, that is the cashew nuts, the almonds and the raisins or the kishmish, and I'm just going to lightly fry them till the cashew nuts and the almonds turn a little golden brown in color. So for say a half a minute or a minute. Now once that is done, just take off all the fried dry fruits. And now I'm going to add another 4 teaspoons of clarified butter or ghee. And now I'm going to add the roasted semolina or the rava into the ghee, and now we're going to fry this really well in the ghee. Now I'm going to add this zaifal powder or nutmeg powder as well as the cardamom or elaichi powder, and again mix everything really well together. I'm also going to add a pinch of salt, just a pinch. Fry this really well. And now we're going to add this jaggery water. It's a little bit hot, so be careful. And once you add the water, do not stir at all, but just cover it immediately. And we're going to cook this on a low to medium heat for just half a minute. Now after half a minute, you will see that everything has come together really well. And now we're going to stir it and you will see that it starts leaving the sides of the vessel and all comes together. So keep stirring it for another minute, add the dry fruits back and mix everything really well together. So it's got a lovely color because of the jaggery. Now if you use a darker jaggery like a Goa jaggery or palm sugar jaggery, you'll get a much darker color. So now mix it and we're going to cook this for at least another whole minute. Stirring well. And now what I like to do is I just like to add another 2 teaspoons of clarified butter. Then I turn off the flame and I just put the cover and let it cool down for another 5 minutes. And now it's all ready to serve. Our lovely Gulacha Sheera is ready. So I've just taken a bowl. I've just greased the bowl a little with some clarified butter. just a drop of clarified butter. And I'm just going to mix all of this sheera nicely together. So then I'm going to fill this about 3/4 of the size of the bowl. And then I'm going to press it down nicely. Don't forget to grease the bowl, that way the sheera will come out nicely. Or if you have a mold, like an aluminium mold, then you can use that. And then just put it on the plate, and it just slips off very easily. You can just pat it once or twice, and there it is. And then you can just garnish it with some nuts, like I've done with some cashew nuts. And that's it, guys. Your lovely sheera using jaggery is ready, and it is super delicious. So I hope you like today's recipe, and I hope you will give it a try. So like I said, for the nutmeg, I use this kind of a small grater. You can also use a cheese grater. So just grate about half a teaspoon of the nutmeg. And as far as the cardamom powder is concerned, I took 3 pods of cardamom or elaichi. I de-podded it, but don't throw away the pods. Keep them, because I like to put them in my tea when I'm boiling them in the morning. So when you're making your tea, just add this, and it will give you a lovely elaichi flavor to your tea. And then you just in your mortar and pestle, just make a fine powder of the elaichi or the cardamom, and that is your elaichi powder. Also, don't forget to add the chopped nuts, whatever nuts you have at home. Just chop them up and add them to this lovely sheera. And like I said, you can use any jaggery for this recipe. You don't have to stick to a particular type, whatever you use at home. So let's see today's delicious recipe of Moong Dal Halwa, which is made out of jaggery, and it gets ready also in no time. So here I've taken 1 cup of yellow Moong Dal, washed it thrice under water, and I'm going to soak it for about 2 hours in about 3 cups of water. Now after 2 hours, you're going to drain all the water out, and you're going to grind this to a very smooth paste. And it should look like this. So you don't need to add any water when grinding the paste, and transfer this to a bowl. Now in a pot, I'm going to add 1 cup of water. To that, I'm going to add 1 cup of grated gur or jaggery or gur. You can use any type of jaggery that you regularly use in your food and in your cooking. Stir it a bit. And then we're going to cook this on a low to medium flame till the jaggery or the gur completely dissolves. So this should take you about 2 to 3 minutes. You can stir it in between, and it will dissolve and look like this. Now in a separate pan, I'm going to heat about half a cup of ghee. Now this moong dal does require a little bit more of ghee. Moong dal halwa. And now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of semolina or rava. I like using the fine rava, but you can even use whatever rava you have, the thick or the medium. And I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of besan or chickpea flour. Just stir the two together in the ghee. See that your ghee is nice and hot on a low to medium flame. And now we're going to grind this moong dal paste. We're going to add the moong dal paste rather. And you're going to stir all the 3 ingredients really well for at least 2 to 3 minutes. We want all these 3 ingredients to get nicely cooked in the ghee. So keep stirring it and see that you mix everything together. And you will see that the moong dal immediately starts to absorb all of the ghee. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cardamom or elaichi powder. So I've taken 3 cardamom pods, and I've made a powder in my mortar and pestle. So ensure that you fry this in the ghee for 2 to 3 minutes. You can use a flat spatula like this. And now I'm going to strain this jaggery syrup that we prepared and add it to this fried mixture and keep stirring it. And you will see that the consistency will immediately change from a lumpy consistency to a very smooth consistency, almost like a sheera. and keep on stirring it for another 2 to 3 minutes till it starts leaving the sides of the pan, and then add some dry fruits and just cook it for another 2 to 3 minutes. And that's it, guys. Your lovely Moong Dal halwa is all ready and it's super delicious. So do try out this recipe and let me know how you like this recipe. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll catch you in my next video. This is Akshata signing off. So friends, let's see today's lovely Goan cucumber cake or tausiache mandos. It's super easy. Now here I've taken 1 cup of rice, washed it thrice well under water, and now I'm going to soak it in 3 cups of water for 2 hours at least. This is very important that you soak the rice for 2 hours. So just cover it and set it aside. Now I've taken 4 medium cucumbers. I'm just showing you 2, but I've taken 4 medium cucumbers, washed them really well, and I've also peeled them. Then I've cut off the tips and I'll do a taste test, and if the cucumbers are bitter, then please discard them. And now we're going to cut them lengthwise like this, and with a spoon I'm just going to scoop out all of the center, that is the seeds, etc. We're not going to use that. So you can, put this in your plants, etc. Don't throw it into the garbage. You can put it in your plants. Just a small tip here. And then I'm just going to roughly chop up the cucumbers. And I should get about 1 cup of these chopped cucumbers. Now you can use any cucumbers. I got my hands on these. Otherwise you can use the dark green ones or whatever you're really used to using. And now once I've done that, I'm going to add the cucumbers to a mixer jar along with 1 cup of desiccated coconut. Now you can also substitute it with fresh coconut. I like the taste of the desiccated coconut in this cake, so I'm using that. And now I'm just going to grind that to a very fine paste. Now after 2 hours, the rice has nicely got soaked, so I'm going to drain out all the excess water. And I'm going to add this to my mixer jar. And I'm also going to be adding 1 cup of grated jaggery. Now you can use any jaggery, the Goa jaggery or the light, colored jaggery, whatever you have at hand. And I'm going to just add about 1/4 cup of water to help the grinding process. And we're going to grind this to a very, very smooth and fine paste like this. So you can transfer that to a bowl too. And now we're going to make the batter for this cucumber cake. So into a large bowl, I'm going to add both of these pastes that we ground just now. To that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of clarified butter or ghee. So I've just melted the butter, the clarified butter. Now in the meantime, just preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of elaichi powder or cardamom powder, as well as about 10 to 12 chopped up cashew nuts. And now you just have to mix everything really well together to get a nice batter. Mix this well so that the elaichi or the cardamom powder also gets nicely mixed up with the rest of the ingredients. And now I've just lined my cake tin with some butter paper. And I'm going to pour the batter into this cake tin. Now this is a 7x7 round cake tin. Then just give it a gentle tap, and now you're going to put it in your preheated oven and bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes. Now after 45 minutes, we're just going to do the test to see whether the cake is ready. So I'm just going to insert a knife into the cake, and if it comes out clean, that means it's ready. If yours doesn't come out clean, just put it back into the oven and bake it for about another 5 to 10 minutes. And once the cake is at room temperature, we're going to demold it, take off the butter paper, and I'm just going to turn it over to the right side. And there your beautiful cucumber cake is ready. So now we're just going to decorate it with some cashew nuts. So I've just taken the cashew nut, cut them into halves like this, and decorated the cake. Remember, we also have cashew nuts in the cake, so it makes it all the more better. And that's it, guys. Your lovely cucumber cake is all ready. So just dig in and enjoy. Hello everyone and welcome back to Akshata's recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I've come up with a new recipe of sweet potato kheer, which is really delicious and very healthy too. So we're not going to be using any sugar in this recipe and it's super delicious. So let's start with the video, the recipe, and join me at the end of the recipe because I have a few important tips for this recipe so that you get it perfect and all the other alternatives you can use in the recipe. So let's jump into the recipe and meet me after the recipe. That a real easy recipe and looks really delicious and something you would really want to try. Now, not everyone is a fan of sweet potato, but sweet potato is really healthy. It's also good for weight loss. Instead, if you like potatoes and you're not eating, you cannot eat potatoes because of it's health reasons, then sweet potato would be a good alternative. Also, I'm not using any sugar in this recipe, so again it's a healthy recipe. I'm substituting it with gur or jaggery as some of you say. And also I am using milk, which is coconut milk. Now, instead of coconut milk, you can also use regular milk. You know, if you don't want to go through the process of making the coconut milk, you can use regular milk. You can also use another shortcut, which sometimes I do use when I'm in a hurry to make something, and that is using coconut milk powder. So you get these small sachets, you know, of coconut milk powder. You just use that with hot water and your coconut milk is ready. So that's really an easy alternative, rather than, you know, going through the gruesome process of grinding the coconut and extracting the milk. I mean, if you have all the time in the world and you have that much patience, you can do it, but otherwise this is the easiest method, you know, to use coconut milk powder. And you know, you can also use regular milk, like I said, or almond milk, or whatever milk you generally use when making your desserts. You've seen I've used turmeric leaves. That's because I have turmeric leaves growing in my window garden. But if you don't have turmeric leaves, it's okay, you can skip it out. But now during the monsoon season, you do get turmeric leaves, you know, easily available in the market, and they're really very you know, reasonable. Like you get about 5 big leaves for about 10 rupees. So that is, you know, if you can access it, then it's great, because this turmeric leaf adds a beautiful flavor, a very light and subtle but really beautiful flavor to this kheer. So if you can get your hands on it, there's nothing like it. But if you don't have it, it's fine, you can skip it. And thank you again, and take care of yourselves. You know, take care, be healthy, stay fit, and be loving and kind to one another. And I'll catch you soon in my next recipe, sooner than you think. This is Akshata signing off. Lots of love. Bye.